you had cashiers and ticket agents who were served by all the people you just described. Now that person, that ticket agent, that cashier, that's gone.
They
are gone. They don't have a job.
Before he was president. That's a cop-out and an excuse for him.
It's an analogy to suggest to you, Sean, that there are larger changes taking place in the economy, and that's why manufacturing construction is at low ebb. And, you know, people are making efforts. We're all Americans trying to make this economy work, and to pick on this Democrat or that Republican is not fair.
We have nearly $5 trillion in Obama debt. It's his economy, Wasserman Schultz said, and him mocking this week. Oh, they didn't have as many shovel-ready jobs as we thought.
I'm glad she said it's his economy, because I think that's honest, and he should take responsibility, and I want him graded, but I don't want him treated unfairly by you, Sean, because I think any politician, any American leader is going to be up against tough situations.
He's mocking the weren't shovel-ready jobs. There's not one metric liberals can cite where we can say he's improved the economy. And you know why? Socialism is a failed economic experiment.
Yeah, you tell that to the guys on Wall Street who are pocketing the big bucks, that their socialist president's the one that bailed them out. Come on, Mr. Hannity.
Mr. Juan Williams, I say that we shouldn't have bailed them out. We shouldn't bail out anybody else. Let companies go under. We have bankruptcy laws to deal with it. And you know what? We got to start saving money. They're spending too much money. They're bankrupt in the country, and we're becoming like Greece.
Well, you want people rioting in the streets because what you're saying is give more money to the rich and forget about Social Security, forget about Medicare, forget about Medicaid. Come on,
I'm
Sean.
saying redistribution doesn't
compassion
work.
About this.
We're driving this country into bankruptcy. We can't afford your social experiments anymore.
Right. So let's have some cuts, and also let's have some tax hikes from people who can afford it, so that we can have mutual sacrifice and rescue the American economy.
55% of my income's not enough. You know, I want to turn my check over to you in the federal government. You guys take it.
Stop.
You spend it.
All right. No.
I still love you.
Take care, Sean.
Juan Williams. And coming up, former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty has been criticized for not going after Mitt Romney and his health care plan during the debate on Monday night. He's here to explain his debate strategy. And then later, former American Idol judge Cara Diaguardi is here, and she has some very disturbing and surprising comments about her former show. That and much more straight ahead. And former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty turned some heads earlier this week when he took a shot at one of his fellow presidential candidates, Mitt Romney. Now, it all occurred on Fox News Sunday when Pawlenty was asked if he sees similarities between Obamacare and Romneycare. Let's take a look.
President Obama said that he designed Obamacare after Romneycare and basically made it Obamacare.
Now, during Monday night's Republican debate in New Hampshire, Governor Pawlenty had the opportunity to repeat that line, but he declined. And some are suggesting that he missed an opportunity to go after the GOP frontrunner. And here to talk about that and much more is former Minnesota Governor, Republican presidential candidate Tim Pawlenty. Governor, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sean. How are you?
Appreciate you being back. You know, it's interesting. I read all the criticism, and this was my take. I think the media was furious. You guys didn't kill each other or go after each other, and that everybody on that stage, rightly, I think, went after President Obama's failed policies. Your reaction?
Well, I think in response to that direct question, I should have been much more clear during the debate, Sean. I don't think we can have a nominee that was involved in the development and construction of Obamacare and then continues to defend it. And that was the question. I should have answered it directly, and instead I stayed focused on Obama. But the question really related to the contrast with Governor Romney, and I should have been more clear. I should have made the point that he was involved in developing it. He really laid the groundwork for Obamacare and continues to this day to defend it. And I think that's a legitimate point in response to the question that I was asked, and I should have been more clear.
When I had an opportunity to interview Governor Romney on the day that he announced that he was running for president, I spent a lot of time asking him about this because I think it was clearly the biggest challenge that he's facing in the primary. And his answer was, well, if the White House, why didn't the White House come to me, was his answer. In other words, that he would have given them advice on what worked, what didn't work. And his argument is, I'm just giving you a chance to respond, is that he doesn't think the federal government has a right, but he does think the states has the right to do it over the federal government. In other words, it's a states issue. And I wanted to get your reaction to that.
Well, I don't think you can prosecute the political case against President Obama if you are a co-conspirator in one of the main charges against the president on a political level. And so it really puts our nominee, if that's who it turns out to be, in a very difficult spot. And I understand Governor Romney's arguments that it's different at the state level, but when you look at these two plans with only modest variations, they're very similar and nearly identical.
Now that you've had an opportunity for two debates, how do you feel about your chances? Who do you think? Do you think Romney, I think I'm taking from your comments, is probably the front runner in your mind? What did you think about your fellow group of candidates up there? Because, you know, everyone seemed to be getting along just fine, and then sometimes you wonder if that's real or, you know, just people being nice.
Well, I think we do get along, and I think the main focus does need to be on President Obama and his failure as a president. But there's going to be some policy differences between the rest of us, and bringing those out in a respectful, policy-based way, I think, is appropriate, particularly in the context of a debate. But beyond that, I think it's going to be decided on people's records. And when you look at the records of these individuals, not just the speeches or the amendments that they offered that didn't work, but who actually got it done. And if you look at my record in Minnesota, cut taxes, cut spending, school reform based on performance, not seniority, public employee pension reform before it was popular, market-based health care reform, and much more, in getting an A grade from the Cato Institute. There's not another candidate up there who can say they actually delivered all of that. And it's part of this is going to be not just who can talk about it, but who can deliver it in a tough environment. I've done it.
How important is Iowa, a neighboring state, your name recognition higher? How important is that as you put together the pieces where you can win the nomination to you?
I think any serious or leading candidate for president has to do well in those early states of Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. They're not the only states, but they're the first ones, and it's important. So I have to do well in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, no question about it. And so we're not mincing any words about it. I don't know that we have to win each one. I think we're going to have to win, you know, at least one of them, and hopefully more. But we're going to have to do well in those early states.
All right, Governor.
And we will.
All right, Governor, it's always good to see you. We appreciate you being with us. Thanks for your time. And we have plenty more coming up tonight, including Cara Diaguardi, who was a judge on American Idol. But let not your heart be troubled. Our great, great, great American panel. Next. All right, tonight on our great, great American panel, he is the host of the John Phillips radio show on my radio affiliate in Los Angeles, Talk Radio 790, KABC. John Phillips is back. She, an attorney, Fox News legal analyst, resident liberal. Tamara Holder is here. He's the president of Penn Financial Group and the author of The Next Great Bull Market, business expert. Mac McCall is with us. Guys, good to see you. All right, I can't. You have been defending Weiner. Let's take a look at Weiner at the Correspondents' Dinner. Let's roll this tape.
Many of us are trying to embrace new media, and I'm following Twitter myself, and I know you might have seen recently that Time magazine naming one of the 140 top Twitterers in the country, and I'm very proud of that. I have over 18,000 followers, and I was feeling pretty good about myself until it became clear that, in fact, I was getting confused with other famous people who were on Twitter, and so I was kind of getting the follow. Let me show you a couple of them that I think I was confused for this one. I don't know. That's Rachel from Glee.
Ouch. All right, so he resigned today, and you've been defending him the whole time.
I have not been defending him. What I've said is that if he really had balls in those shorts of his,
oh my! What are you doing tonight?
He would have stayed in office, and he would have said, "I'm very sorry for my behavior. If you don't want to reelect me in 2012, then don't.
So
or if you want to impeach me,
let me ask you a question.
hold a hearing."
Is there not a risk that somebody that he's sending, you know, pictures of his naked body to? Strangers, basically, could walk into his office one day and say, you see these? You either do A, B, or C, or I'm going to release these pictures. Is he not subject to blackmail?
Sure he is. Sure he is. But there's also something that's more important.
So he's not fit for office if you can be compromised that way with his, you know, this impulse control that he probably has.
Everybody's subjected to blackmail if they've done something. I went to the University of Arizona. I probably have some pictures floating around out there. So, you know, we've all made silly mistakes.
You really think there are pictures of you out there? Somebody's looking as a
Well, I think that when the Clintons think that you're too much of a pervert and a sociopath, for them to be comfortable associating with you, you know you've got a problem. And the big problem for Weiner is that this is a political problem for the Democrats, because the Democrats have to win elections in Utah and Nebraska, in Missouri, and in places where those people are appalled. Yeah, and that doesn't sell there, and they know that they had to get rid of them, and that's what happened today.
You know what? I would actually be behind him if he actually was a man and came out the first day it happened and lived up to it. But no, he sat there with many reporters and looked them in the eye and called them out and lied right to them. So what else is he lying about? Listen, how could he be your representative?
You know, it's funny. I have some FBI friends of mine, and they told me that they assume that people are lying. You know, it was in his case. It was so you have to be an idiot to not have seen that he was lying from the beginning in this. What?
If you talk to the FBI and say, I don't know, that, and you do know, that's a lie. That is a lie. So, of course, the FBI. Yes, it is. What happened to Governor Blagojevich? He said, I don't know, because he didn't want to say what he knew. And he got convicted of 1 count of lying to the FBI.
Okay, he lied. Don't lie to the FBI, and your problems are solved.
It is the easiest, simplest drop in the bucket to get a conviction.
Wait a minute. No, the problem is people, the dumbest thing people do is, first of all, you don't send you don't send pictures of your naked body.
That's the dumbest thing you can do, is talk to the FBI.
Really?
Absolutely.
The dumbest thing you could do. Let me tell you, thank God for the FBI, because they keep us safe. They put their lives on the line for us. They're not the enemy unless you're an idiot like Weiner. Then they become the enemy because you did foolish, dumb, stupid, illegal things, right?
Yeah, it was so obvious that he was lying right from the very beginning. If you're looking at a picture of the back of your head, then maybe you can say, oh, I don't know if it's me. But if you're looking at a picture of your crotch, what are you going to say? Oh, below the waist, I can't tell if it's me or Tommy Lee? I mean, you know.
Well, I don't know. Look, I refuse to look at that picture. I wouldn't look at. By the way, look at this, Tamara. See that? What does it say on my pen?
Yeah, there's a wire in there. It's monitoring everything that you do.
It says
the FBI.
Yeah,
I know.
Listen,
and if you put it in your pocket, it follows you everywhere.
Because I don't do drugs. I'm not doing things I'm embarrassed. My conscience guides me in my life. I go home and eat cereal when I'm done with work. And you know what? I sleep well at night.
And Sean, you don't put yourself in a situation. You have to talk to the FBI.
The only compromising situation is having her on the panel.
Right. But not everybody is perfect like you. Everybody makes mistakes.
I made mistakes when I was young on things that I'm not proud of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where?
Where? There's no naked pictures. I can promise you that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank goodness they didn't have cell phones back then. And what is wrong with him? He can't walk by a mirror without, taking the. I'm just.
It's creepy.
Thank God it's over. All right, time to check in with Greta. She's coming up.
Sean, I told you to stop sending me these messages on my BlackBerry.
I really like you.
What is wrong with you? I mean, it's really, it's getting out of control. Right, anyway, tonight we have a great show. We have Donald Trump, Senator John McCain, and we have the latest in Casey Anthony.
All right, I'm not going to tell people what pictures you sent me now. This is a big mystery. All right, more with our great American panel. Plus, Cara Diaguardi from American Idol is coming up next. Straight ahead. And we continue with our great American panel. You just said to me, most men are cheaters.
They are.
No, they're not.
Most men are cheaters.
Where did you come up with this brilliant statistic?
Because most of the men that I know are cheaters.
Wait a minute. Well, most of your liberal friends are cheaters. That's not my problem. But
no.
What about men that go to church and believe in God and the Ten Commandments and they have principles and values?
Because you have bad choice in men.
Does not mean that you don't cheat. No, I don't have bad choice in men.
Well, where did you come up with this broad, sweeping generality? It sounds like there's some resentment there towards men.
No, I'm just waiting for you to find me the
waiting
perfect
for me
husband.
to find. It's my responsibility to find you the perfect husband?
Yes, because it's only the liberal guys that I hang out with who cheat.
Well, that's exactly true. That's my point.
The Republicans don't cheat. There are no cheating
Republicans. But the problem is the Republican doesn't want to deal with an unreasonable liberal.
That's a personality issue that I have.
What?
That no guy wants to deal with me. Can you